All right, I'm finally live. I've been trying to get my Ninja Trader to work for, well, 45 minutes. So it's been a frustrating morning. So today, 90% sale is back. I'm sure everyone knows this. And one day to pass continues. All right, so I'm going to be trading my PA number 2 account as well as Eval 31. I'm going to try to do my auto stop runner to try to capture more ticks. I'm about 600 away from qualifying for a payout, and I'm going to see if I can make it less than 6 trades to get there, hopefully. So I've got 2 charts up that have no losses. That is showing me it's good for a little bit bigger scalp. And 1 chart that just has 1 loss in the overnight. A crazy market. Crazy. And I'm going to try to, since these charts are working, I think, oh, by the way, I think just I was having problems getting on my Ninja. I was trying to log in during the news, like right at 6:45, 9:45 Eastern. So I think that just really made it difficult for Ninja to try to catch up with all the data, because I think it's just going crazy. All right. Be looking for a trade and see what we get. Oh, and if I get a couple trades on my PAs early, then I'm going to try to switch over to evals and just start trading them as aggressively as possible. I realized I got a blown account that's going to renew and come back, that would come back for 80%, like next Tuesday. So I'm going to cancel that and get the same account for 90% off. And then I have 3 others that are going to renew that are currently active that are not near passing. So I'm going to try to get really aggressive with those and see if I can't make something happen with that as well, or blow them up and get new accounts for 90%. So yeah, right now I've got 3 good charts currently. And try to let myself be more aggressive today if I can possibly do that. Man, first trade out of the gate. Being more aggressive. Gonna bite me in the butt. On the PA. Ah. Frustrating morning. I could have skipped that trade, but this chart had no losses. And so I decided to go for it since it had no losses. I managed to pick up the first loss on my first trade. That's really frustrating. So that's one less chart that I can trade. Man. This is like the most frustrating thing about trading is you spend 45 minutes just to get on the chart. Oops, not 1 and 0, 0 and 1. Spend 45 minutes to get on the chart. The chart's working the whole morning, and then you take a trade and you get the first loss on the chart. It just feels like bad luck, right? On the account that is the most important account and the closest to a payout. All right, that one hurts. So now I'm 1,100 away instead of 600. All right. Today I might just take a second trade on it and try to get some back. It might be a short day for me if I get a second loss. We're all just good at evaluations, I guess. But I've got two good charts. The price action is good. Just going to keep going. I'm going to leave these accounts the same. By the way, I could have skipped that trade. I mean, if I was being more discerning, because I had every reason and expectation to believe that it would retest this high. And I should have been thinking about that. And it's not in an area where there's, is it? I guess I could have drawn this. I guess I could have said, I guess that's kind of what I saw. But still, when it pushed up like that, every expectation is going to reach the high. Big up day. I'm going counter trend. I guess I deserved to get that loss, but it was on a chart that had no losses, so I got sucked into it. On the days you don't take the trades, those are the days it works. And the days you take it, that's the day you get your loss. All right. Frustrating morning for me. I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm just going to take the next good trade I see on a different chart. I'm going to add 2 evaluations to the next trade and keep the same PA going. Or actually, I take it back. I'm going to switch to PA6. And I'll just rotate back and forth from PA2 to PA6. Just in case I'm lucky enough to get 2 losers in a row. All right, I was just thinking to myself, since I got my first loss, my edge is to take every entry. I managed to, If I were to take every entry like yesterday, I could have been probably 8-0, 9-0, 10-0 if I traded that far. Just taking every entry. And I, you know, got somewhat caught lucky or unlucky to get a loss on my first trade when I'm just trying to be more aggressive because I see a day like yesterday. It's a little bit of a mind fuck, but I'm going to just lean into my edge right now. And on my charts that are still good, I'm taking the next entries that come. And I'm going to take them and rotate accounts and just go for it. This is a step back to be 600 away from qualifying for a payout, now being 1100 away. So I want to get some of this back. I'm not going to quote unquote revenge trade. I'm just going to stick with my system. And when I get an entry, I'm taking it. I got 2 charts that have all entries that have worked in the entire session. So every single entry you can find in here has worked for the scalp target. So I'm going to lean into it and trust that I got unlucky on one chart, but it's not going to happen on the 2 other charts. And I'm going to be able to get a string of wins before a loss would come up and not skip a bunch like I normally do and then go, oh, I was, 3-1 when I could have been 8-0. So we'll see how that goes today. I am going to trade on PA6 next for the first one. And then if I get a win, I'll go back to PA2 and do that. I'm going to trade 31 again. And then I'm adding 22 and 23 to the copier right now. I've got so many accounts that I can't even get to all of them. So it actually doesn't even make sense that I have all of these accounts. I'm realizing I'm even getting more trades when I'm getting 10 trades a week. And, it's like I'm only getting like 2 trades a week on the PA. I'm getting, 2 or 3 trades on this account and another 2 or 3 on another account. And then I've got 6 accounts that I don't even touch. So I think I just have more accounts than I really need. And it doesn't really make sense. So while this 90% sale is going off, if I blow a bunch of them, I know I can get however many more I want for 90% off. And so yeah, I'm just going to start going for it. It doesn't help that I'm a little frustrated, but I do have a system. And so it won't be just taking random trades. It will be sticking with the system, and it either works for me today or it becomes a massive failure for me today. But if I get 2 losses on any of my PA accounts, then those accounts are definitely not being traded anymore today. Yeah, if I could have not had to stop, it would have saved it, but I wasn't going to risk that on my best PA account when I don't even have a payout yet. So that wasn't an option. But if you're playing with no stop, it would have eventually come back in my favor. But that's just not the way I do things. Not on my PA accounts for sure. I'm going to leave my order out and it'll move it down above each candle as necessary. And next time it ticks above a bar, it will be an entry. And this chart has no losers. So that's the game I'm going to play right now. And we'll see if it works in my favor or not. Normally would not want to get triggered in right here. But when it triggers me in, I'm going to be in the trade. If it finishes as an inside bar, I normally wouldn't want to get in either, but this chart has no losses, so I'm gonna see what happens. All right, we got the win there. Looks like I didn't get a good fill on my PA. The worst fill on the PA, of course. All right, but let's see. I was supposed to get it's weird. Definitely some slippage on my Apex accounts. But a win's a win. So even though that looked like a terrible trade, it worked. And that's just trusting my charts at this point, which maybe I need to do this more, honestly, even though I got the loss on the first trade. I realized on my PA6 I only had one contract designated for it, so that's why I got the smaller amount. Not typically where I would take a trade. See if it works out in my favor or not. Oh, so close to working right there. Will it work? I would never normally take this trade, so let's see if leaning into the system gets me a win here that I wouldn't normally have. Okay, I got a win, but something funky there. So I didn't get the full amount of ticks I wanted, but I got the win. That's going to happen sometimes with this runner system, I think. I also manually closed it. Just I wanted to make sure that since I was seeing some errors popping up, I wanted to make sure I just locked in a win and not risk this turning into a loss at this point. Definitely a trade I wouldn't normally take. just realized that in the midst of this trade, my other good chart that I had would have picked up a loss in here. So I'm not going to trade that chart anymore, which means I'm down to one chart, which is unfortunate. And the chart that I was originally trading with, this one, after this loss, it got two losses in this mess. So that's why I don't trade the same chart after a loss, because it can very well just start losing after that. So if I didn't manually close, I maybe could have got a lot more on my runner aspect, but it just seemed like a dangerous trade as it was, and I got a little antsy to get out because it wasn't clear that my runner strategy was working. There's something weird where I'm entering orders and it's giving me errors. I just figured out that my strategy was set on the wrong thing, so it actually wasn't giving me the runner setup that I was expecting. So it's actually a good thing I did this, because things could have got really messed up there. And if it was set up right, I still wouldn't have gotten more, because it would have come up here, I think, and then come back down and taken me out. I think either way, I would have had about the same, maybe. It's not clear. All right, another trade I wouldn't normally take, but this is my last winning chart, and it's an entry right here. All right, so another winner, another trade I wouldn't normally take. It worked. The auto stop strategy worked this time. So I got 3.25 points. So I got 13.6 instead of my usual 11. All right, so I'm going to dare try switching from PA6 to PA2 and see if I can help it a little bit today. One good chart left, so it's all about, can I get some wins on it before the first loss arrives on this chart? So at this point, I'm really not doing any analysis. And maybe that's what I'm supposed to do with this system. I picked up the loss on my first trade without doing analysis, which was really just bad timing. But there's days where if I was just doing what I've been doing on these last trades, trade 3, trade 4, on the other chart, this one, trade 2, trades that I wouldn't normally take. If I just did that on some days I can go 10 and 0, 12 and 0, maybe, 8 and 1, So that's what I call leaning into the system. That's what I'm going to try to do more of because, well, I think it'll give me a chance to get some runs and, build accounts faster. If I take a unlucky loss, I could have probably avoided my loss today, but I also wouldn't have got any of these other trades. So right now, I've got 3 accounts that are green and 2 accounts that are red. I wouldn't have any green. I would just have the one red, or I guess I'd be flat. Maybe it's probably what the reality would be. Is I'd probably be flat for the day if I could have decided to skip the first trade just because I thought it would retest the high. Where was it? This chart. Just because I thought it was going to retest the high, I could have skipped it. Then I would have surely been 0 for 0 today, I guess. Not sure what's better. Advance some accounts, but take a hit on 1 or 2 that I copied, or who knows. But I think this is also what the 1-day pass inspires in me, and the 90% sale. When these sales happen, I tend to take the most losses because I get the most aggressive. I think that's just the reality. I think they know that, and that's why they do it. Just realized I never changed my stats after the last win. So I've taken 4 trades and lost 1. Yeah, so I was 3-1 yesterday, and now I'm 3-1 again today. And yesterday, my loss was waiting for a specific, or something that fit my rules, which it kind of broke my rules actually when I realized it. But I was looking for something that fit my rules. My 3 winners today, no rules, just taking the chart that has wins. So, but I could easily, if somehow I wasn't in this trade or this trade wasn't happening, I could have ended up in a loss on my other chart if I took the trade on that chart instead of this one. So we'll see if this can get me anywhere trading like this. But my 3 wins today are all wins that are trades I would not have taken if not just for trusting the charts or trusting the chart that I'm playing. Also, I wouldn't have got my first loss either, probably. So it's a wash. Unfortunately, the loss is on the most important account, but I'll get it back. If not today, in coming days. And I had taken a loss like that before last week. I think it was last week, and I was able to bring it back to the high. So, sometimes that happens, but I'm still in fine shape. I've still got about 2,000 in drawdown. So the account is in fine shape. I got to remind myself of that. It's just the pressure I put on myself to want to get this payout already. Been working towards it for a long time. I've actually had this PA account since July. I haven't been trading it since then. I've only been trading it since the day after Christmas, but I've had this account a really long time. Luckily, it's on lifetime, so I'm not paying monthly fees on it. Just taking a look at the daily. Seems like it's gonna try to retest the high, I would think. Okay, I found a new chart that had no losses, so I took it. Let's see what happens. Not a trade I would normally take again. I just realized I am doing this on an account that is my PA2, my best PA. So it's a little scary, but I'm going for it. All right, I got locked in. I got the win. What did I get? I just found this chart, so I saw it kind of at the last second that it was setting up, and I took the trade. I would never take that trade normally. So it shows you what I could do if I'm taking every trade, although it started with a bad example of a loss. So I haven't quite seen the benefits of my auto stop runner strategy yet. Got 2 extra ticks on one trade, but you can see this had the potential to get more. So I like that I'm giving myself the opportunity to get more, even though it didn't happen this time. And got a little bit back on PA2. It's interesting. My other chart actually had a winner at the same time there. And this is even more unusual because it would be to go above this red bar and it would have worked. Definitely looked nicer on the chart that I took it on. So taking every trade indiscriminately, or every entry indiscriminately, has gotten me to be 80%, which is what I've been otherwise anyway. 4-1. Unlucky that the loss came on the first trade for this account, but I don't know, something about it I like. It's kind of leaving it to fate to a certain degree, but also when a chart's working, it's working until it's not. I'm going to step away for a couple minutes. All right, I'm back. Man, it looks like I missed a couple trades. Well, I missed one trade. Actually, this one, what am I looking at here? Let's get caught up. Here. This one just triggered actually for a long above this bar. So let's see if this is going to fail, which it looks like it is. Then that'll be the end of this chart, and I'll be back down to one chart again, unless I could find more. So today's not a terrible day, 4-1. It just sucks that I've got red on my best PA, but I picked up 200 on my other PA. And, you know, this is the balance I was at not too long ago, last week. So, not horrible. And I got most of the loss back on 31. Right, let's see. I mean, I'm not going to enter this trade late, so, although I suppose I could, but I'm not going to. Doesn't look like it's going to go back up there anyways. It'll probably turn into a loss here. So if this turns into a loss, that'll be the end of this chart. And considering what it looks like, I definitely don't want to enter it now, late. So if it were to go back up. Actually, one of my charts I was trading earlier, it got a loss, but then it's had all wins since. So, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to switch back to that. It is getting to be about that time. So what I think I'm going to do is just accept my red on PA2 for the day. Have my profit locked in on PA6. It's not what I was hoping for today, but it could be worse. Because definitely the last trade I took felt the riskiest. Where was it? This one. That felt the riskiest going into the high of the day. And risking a second loss on that PA account. In general, I don't really want to risk a second loss on a PA account on any given day. So I don't want to be able to do that much damage on a PA account in one day. However, I decided to go for it there. And if it wasn't so close to 9, I'd probably keep going on it. But I got other things to do, which is to... oh, wow, this is actually coming back. I may actually enter late here with just one of my evaluations. It does come back up here. Just because this chart has no losses, and I'll just risk evaluation 29, which is going to renew soon. So I got to do something with it. %90 really messes me up because it makes me want to cancel accounts so I can get in for cheaper price. It's half the price. But if it fails, then obviously I won't get in here. But let's see if it comes back up. I might get in. This would be just evaluation 29 only. I would just get in at the original price of the entry. Looks like it's going to fail. All right. Looks like that failed. Not quite. The low here, 44. Huh. Well, it definitely failed now. Okay. So this chart is burned. So I've got one chart left. Which is this one. I'll do 29, 22, and 23 on my next trade. No more PAs for the day. Uh, 22, 23, and 29 I'll renew on the 27th or 28th, I believe. So I gotta just start going for it. Because I really only have today and tomorrow. And I don't see any sense in letting them renew for 80% when I can get them for 90%, half the price. This chart hasn't lost yet, so this is the next entry. Wouldn't be an entry I would normally take, so we'll see what happens. I just realized I probably have the wrong ATM on the. No, there it worked. Okay, it was the right ATM at least. That's good. So I think I got extra on that. 350. So not much extra. 14 ticks, but a little extra, and it all helps. So I wouldn't have taken that trade normally, but it worked again. So maybe there's something to trading this way. What I say here is 3.5 points. So yeah, 14 ticks. Definitely had potential for more there, but that's the nature of it. Is as price moves up, the auto stop follows closely behind, and so I'm trying to capture as much as possible, but also not trying to give up too much drawdown at the same time. So I'll take 14 ticks. It's 3 extra ticks on every contract. It helps. All right, so it started off as a real bummer of a day. Unfortunately, on PA2, it's turned into a pretty good overall day, 5-1. Just bad timing for the loss. But this is the idea of what I'm trying to do with my strategy with Apex accounts is the rotation of the accounts. This is kind of starting to show the possibility. You know, I'm imagining one day when these are all PA accounts and, you know, I take a hit on a PA account or two. I mean, these were copied at this on the same bad trade. So probably when I'm doing PA accounts to do the system, I'm just trading one at a time, not copy trading. And I pick up a win, I go to the next account. I pick up a win, I go to the next account. If I pick up a loss, I go to the next account. And so in theory, if I'm taking every entry on a winning chart, you know, most of my accounts should be green and maybe one or two will pick up a red in a day, maybe. But there's days where I'll take trades I wouldn't normally take, which is every single win I've taken today are trades I would not take if I was doing any kind of analysis. And the fact that I'm not doing analysis and I've got 5 trades in a row that I've won since the first loss, you know, I mean, the reality is I'm 83% today. So no matter what I do, I seem to be finding myself around 80% so far. And the days where I've leaned into my system, you know, I think I could benefit more accounts across the board by doing this, really. I mean, I'm starting to wonder. I always look for my P account for the first trade. I almost wonder, because I've had a number of days where my first trade's a loss. I almost wonder if I should start with an evaluation, get a win, see it's working, then go to a PA, try to get a win, and go to the next PA, try to get a win, go to the evaluations, go through them. And if there's still time, come back to the PA. That's kind of what I'm starting to think. But right now, the mindfuck is that 90% one day pass is going on. So these accounts, if I don't pass them by tomorrow, they're going to renew. Let me see. What's the date? Let's make sure I know what I'm talking about. So 22, 23, 29, and then 28, that's blown up. I'll renew starting on the 27th. So that's in 5 days. So that's Tuesday. So no, I have Monday also to trade. So that's important to know. So I have today, tomorrow, and Monday to pass 22, 23, and 29. Otherwise, they're going to renew at 80% when I could get them for 90%. So I don't know. If I see an opportunity, I may just... How am I going to do this? Because my auto stop strategy is activated. Just do them one at a time and keep taking trades until pass or fail. Just take every entry. $31 is the closest to passing, but I've also got the most time because this renewed last weekend. So I'm locked into this for another month regardless, so I've got plenty of time. I'm going to cancel 28. So really, I mean, I traded 3 contracts on 29. Seems like I didn't get as much here. That's the thing. Sometimes I think because I'm using a simulator account, sometimes it'll show that I got a certain number of ticks, but I really get less on my Apex accounts. And it's hard to know individually what they are without going into each one and looking. I don't want to spend the time doing that, but yeah, it looks like I got less than 14 ticks here. Is that 14 ticks, right? Four points minus 55 cents. Minus half a point. Yeah. Yeah, so I think slippage on the copier. All right, so what am I going to do? I'm looking at a pretty good day overall. Yeah, I know it's not real money. The only thing that matters is the PA counts, but overall in the day for the trading, I'm up at $840, which would typically be a good day. It just sucks that the red is on this PA number 2, which is where I'm making a payout by the next payout window. And it's too bad I didn't trade it on this last trade because I could have brought it back a little bit more. But once it hit 9 o'clock, I was like, eh. So I'm going to start trading these one at a time because it's 9 o'clock. I mean, I probably need to be more aggressive than that since I've got 2.5 days to pass these accounts. I guess I just need to start trading closer to max contracts. The thing that always makes me nervous is I know in this system around this time, charts that have no losses will start getting losses potentially. So it's hard to want to up your contracts when now's the time where it could work against you. All right, well, I'm just going to go with account 22 and start there. It's the easiest one to pass out of the 3 accounts that are active because 23 and 29 are a long ways away from passing. But I might be able to pass this 22. I'm down to 1 chart though. All right, I might take this if it triggers for a short, just because this chart hasn't lost yet, and I'm trading evaluation 22 only. I'll be trading maximum contracts, 4 contracts. Seems like a dangerous trade. There's a measured move higher. Okay, if this triggers, it's dangerous, but the chart hasn't lost yet, so we shall see. And it's just on evaluation 22, which expires or renews next Tuesday. So just going to do my best to pass it before it renews, because I don't want to pay 80% when I could pay 90%. So that's how Apex gets us. So once again, if this does trigger, it'll be a trade that I wouldn't normally take, but I'm just going with the chart. And it's going to get me. Do I move the stop and just let it blow the account? See, I knew this was a bad trade. You got the measured move and everything, but all right, moving the stop. I'll just blow the account if it doesn't work out. I'm in for 4 contracts, so if it goes much higher, the account will it'll blow pretty quick. It is what it is. This is what 90% does to me. I blow accounts all the time like this because at a certain point, I feel like I just have to go for it because I don't want to pay double the price when it renews in 3 trading days. Hurts my stats and everything, but this is just the nature of the Apex game, unfortunately. Maybe I'll still get lucky here, but unsure. Wow, got the win. And looks like I got some extra ticks. I really thought I was going to lose that trade. Again, this chart just hasn't lost for the entire session. So, if anything, I'm learning from today that I really need to just trust my edge. I'm going to pick up losses from time to time, but I'm not doing any worse than I would do if I was using the rules. I picked up my loss. It was the first trade of the day. It's kind of unlucky almost because now I've got 6 trades in a row that are winners. Every single one of my winners I would not take if applying any rules to my trades today. So again, 7 trades. I'm 6-1 now. I'll have to update my stats. How many ticks did I get here? All right, so this one, it paid off. 4.75 points. So 19 ticks. So I think I am starting to like this auto stop strategy where I'm going for more ticks on all my contracts. So I just traded 4 contracts and so max contracts on this account. And I'm going to try to pass it before it renews on Tuesday. Although I got to think about this. I have to buy new accounts by Sunday night. So that's how they get you too, because I might still have this account working to try to pass it with a couple days left to spare. I guess I cancel the account for renewal and try to pass it, and then I either pass it or fail it before it renews and pick up new one for 90%. I guess that's what I'll do. And let me record all this information, put the stats in. All right, so 6-1 for the day. Six and one for the day, which is about 82%, or sorry, 86%. Just taking every entry that I see. Unfortunately, doing this today, my first trade was a loss, and then I've pulled off 6 wins in a row. Every single win I've taken today is not a trade I would take if I was applying any of my rules. Literally not a single trade. So it is telling me, unfortunately I took the loss on my best account, closest to an actual payout. Took the loss, shifted to PA6, picked up what I think a couple wins on PA6, and then moved on and then went back to PA2, picked up 1 win, got a little bit back, and then moved on to evaluations. So I'm seeing kind of the promise of what this strategy could mean for me, potentially. If I lean into the concept of just taking every entry when I have a winning chart, I'm going to get a loss here and there, but it doesn't seem like I'm getting more losses than the other way. It seems like the way they're dispersed might be different, but in reality, rules or no rules, I'm landing in the 80-ish% area regardless. And if that's the case, why not trade this way is what I'm thinking, where I take a trade on an account, I move on to the next account, take a trade, move on, win or loss, spread it out over accounts. It's going to be hard to pass evaluations that way to a degree, but if I'm taking every entry, there might be days like yesterday where literally 11 entries in a worked or 11 or 12 entries in a row worked. I mean, I could have been through every single one of my accounts with a win and call it a day. And if I do every day like that, accounts are going to start passing. And then the question is just how many contracts. And I think if I'm doing it that way, it's to do it with more contracts. So it might even be a reason to say, let me get even extra accounts on this 90%. I don't know. Really, the most important thing is to get a payout. So I got to keep that in mind. So that's the main thing that goes through my head is I don't want to start racking up even extra fees when it's still on my own dime. I want it to be on Apex's dime. So, 8 accounts is already too many accounts for me trading with rules because I don't get enough trades. And if I'm trading with lower contracts, it doesn't work out. But it doesn't even have to be max contracts on like the 50Ks. It could just be like 5 contracts. And on the 25Ks, I think it would be 4 contracts. But basically one loss is almost blowing up the account. Or sometimes it might blow up the account. So it's hard to say. But I think today's kind of indicative of how this could work. And it's just a matter of when you get the loss, how does it disperse? And it's also not being too greedy. So I think, I want to bake in that I can absorb a loss. So maybe trading 4 contracts normally on the 25K accounts isn't what I want to do. But since right now this account is going to renew on Tuesday for 80%, I don't want to pay 80% when I can pay 90%. It makes sense that I try to pass it or fail it before then and either get a PA or pick up a new account for less money, half as much. Anyway, I feel like every time Apex does the 90% sale, I fall into this conundrum. And it's usually when I blow up all, or not all, but many evaluations, is situations like this. I've got 3 accounts that renew Tuesday and I think 1 on Wednesday, something like that. And so now it puts me in this position of why pay $33 when I could pay $16. So then if I'm going to pay $16 and not $33, then pass it or fail it, right? What else do you do? That's what I'm thinking. All right. Also, the problem is it's already 9:50 in the morning on the West Coast. I don't want to be trading all day, but now this thing has me needing more trades. Yeah, I could have just let this thing run and just gone for it, which is another thought. Look, this would have passed the account already. But if I did it here and tried to do that, well, then it would have turned into a loss, because where would I have captured my profit if I was just trying to go for a winning account? So, it works both ways. All right, so 7 trades today. 6-1, 5 wins in a row. Or no, 6 wins in a row. Start off with the loss and then 6 wins in a row. Hey, Zach. I'm not qualified to teach a strategy or tell anyone to trade like me. So no, I don't have a video explaining the strategy. I can tell you just real basically, it's just second entries. And what I'm trying to generally do is be able to look at a chart when I start my chart, or when I start my trading session every day. I literally am looking for charts where every second entry is working for my profit target. And those are the charts that I trade. And what I'm trying to figure out is if I could just lean into the idea of if every entry is working for the entire session. So when I say the entire session, like I'm looking at this chart right now, the entire session is I'm on the West Coast. So from the 3 p.m. open yesterday, which is 6 p.m. on the East Coast, which delineates yesterday from today. So this is today's session. Every entry that can possibly be taken, regardless of any rules, has worked on this chart. Literally everyone. I only hopped on board this chart by the time I took this trade. I wasn't even looking at it until I took this trade, because I was looking at other charts that picked up losses eventually. But I found this chart, it had no losses, and now I've taken 3 trades on it, and they've all won. And so the concept that I'm thinking about is, if I'm looking at a chart and I know that every single entry for the entire session has worked, then the idea is this chart is working for my profit target to just kind of ride that wave. And what happens if I try to take every entry, regardless of rules, regardless, I went short here. I had a measured move up higher. It's not, none of these trades, all 3 of these trades I would not normally have taken applying any of my normal price action rules. But because the chart just hasn't lost for the entire session, that, I'm contemplating, well, just take every entry. And how many entries can you take? How many trades a day do you need? How many times does it need to be right before you can say, okay, I've had as many trades as I want to take for the day, and I can stop for the day? And how many times can you be like 6-0 or 10-0? Or, today, my first trade of the day doing this, I was 0-1. My very first trade, I took a trade. Let me show you the chart. What chart was I on? Forget what chart I was on. I look at a lot of charts here. I took a note. Right. So my first trade of the day was this one. And this chart had no losses on it for the entire session previously. And so given that, this was the first trade I saw since I was able to get on stream today and start trading. And my first trade just happened to be a loss. It was the first, sorry, I'm going to clear my throat. So this loss was the first time this chart had a loss the entire session. So when I got the loss, I just switched charts. And what I do is I generally have like 3 or 4 charts I'll watch that are different tick sizes. And they're like random. I just pick different sizes and, look. And so then I went to this chart and I took a trade I would have never taken. I just took the first entry I saw on it. And it won. It was a terrible looking trade. It was off an inside bar. I would never take this trade, but I took it and it won. And then it ended up getting a loss, I think, afterwards. But in the meantime, I had switched to another chart that I saw set up an entry, which was here. So not long after, you can see I took the long here, that worked. Not long after, there was another inside bar that I entered above it, and that worked too. I would never take this trade, applying any rules, but it worked. Then I took this trade. I would never take this trade, applying any rules, but it worked. In the meantime, that last chart got a loss in this area, so I wasn't looking at that chart anymore. So then I found that last chart that I was showing where my last trades were on. So this was trade 4. And then I found this chart. And so this was the next entry on this chart. So I took it and it won. And then in the meantime, the last chart I just showed picked up a loss. So now this is the only chart that I have to look at. And in that time since I've been watching it, here's another entry that I would never take applying rules. I took it and it won. And then there's another entry that I would never take applying rules. I took it and it won. So I got 6 winners in a row today doing this. Now, it was unfortunate. My first trade was a loss, and I copy traded to 2 accounts. So PA2, which is the account that I was closest to my payout, being qualifying for a payout, I was 600 away. So actually, my first loss was a little bit more than this. And I ended up coming back, and on one of the later trades, I traded it again. This one, trade number 5. I traded PA2 for a second time. So I got a little bit back. But I'm now 1,000 away from a payout, where when I started today, I was 600 away from a payout. And then on evaluation 31, I traded it multiple times. So I brought it back even further than I brought back PA2 from the one loss. And then the other evaluations are just all from these other 6 trades that I took that all won. So that was a long explanation to your question. But yeah, so I'm not explaining my strategy or making a video about my strategy because this is really just all an experiment. And I don't think anyone should actually do this. I've kind of gone through a couple of strategies, and I've been trading futures for 3 years, and these are all tick charts. So this is every single chart that I use is a tick chart. So I have multiple tick charts that I have on like tabs that I can just tab through. So, I was trading max price action trading system. I don't know if you are aware of that, Zach, but I was trading that for 3 years on ES. And so I was just using the 2000 tick chart. It was the only thing I ever looked at. It's the only chart that I ever traded off of. And I was okay at it. Like I was probably, honestly, at times I was at 90%. I would go weeks where I would be in the 90% range, and then I would have weeks where I was like 60%, and then I'd have weeks where I was 80%, and then I'd have weeks where I was 70%. But no matter how it all panned out, I was never getting profitable. I was always getting profit and then losing it back, and then losing capital and then getting it back. And I was trading a live account for a long time. So I wasn't trading prop accounts for more than 2 of the 3 years that I traded max system. But there's like an inherent kind of limitation to only trading one chart is what I'm starting to realize. I think that if you only trade one chart, or even if you only trade one chart, but even if you're looking at other charts to kind of get an idea, bigger charts, lower charts, whatever, I think it's limiting to the trades you can take. And so, yeah, it's funny. It wasn't even my idea, kind of like this entire concept. My brother's a trader too. And so he kind of had this idea and was working on it. And then he showed me what he was doing. And I had run into a big brick wall at the end of last year. You don't know it? Okay. Well, what do you trade, Zach? What's your trading strategy? Out of curiosity. But yeah, my brother tried this, and he was having some success, and I hit a brick wall, and I blew up a bunch of accounts. I had 5 PA accounts, and I blew up 4 of them at the end of last year. So PA2 was the only one that survived my blow up right before Christmas. And then PA6 was new, I think this year. And so I started trying this the day after Christmas on my own, not recording it on YouTube. And I had like a 4-0 day the first time I tried it. And so then I started going back and forth about whether I could take every entry or not. And I started applying some limited basic rules to price action rules to what I was doing. So I was like skipping entries. But then, like, for example, a day like yesterday, if you go back and watch yesterday's live recording of my live stream and look at my review from yesterday I had a 3-in-1 day. Was that yesterday? I think that was yesterday, a 3-in-1 day. If there was a certain part of one of my charts yesterday, a certain time frame on one of my charts yesterday, where there was 12 entries, and they all would have worked, and they all looked terrible. I mean, they all looked really bad. Like, that's my loser. They all looked really bad, like this, like entries off inside bars, entries going right into the EMA when it pushed through. And they're just terrible looking entries. And there was 12 of them in a row that worked in like the span of like an hour and a half or something. I took only one of those trades. And by the next time I took a trade on that chart, after 12 entries that worked, I happened to take a trade that I thought was pretty good, not the best, but decent. And I took a loss. And so I was like, 12 entries. I could have been done for the day. I literally could have had a win on every account and said, okay, that's good enough for me. 8-0 or whatever it is, or 9-0, and called it a day. But instead, I took a loss when I didn't want to take a loss. Now today, I started off with a loss on my most important account, my PA number 2. But then I've taken 6 trades since that were all winners. So, if this account wasn't so important to me that I don't want to risk blowing it up on one bad day, this account could be green right now if I just traded it on every trade I took for the rest of the day. But I'm being more careful than that. But literally 6 wins today. I wouldn't have taken a single one. Mostly scalping, not very successful. Trying to catch a trade between levels from higher time frame. Yeah, I've been there, man. So I definitely believe in scalping. It's definitely, to me, it makes the most sense to not try for home runs, but go for kind of like based hits and doubles. But the problem is if you take a loss scalping, your risk reward is always inverted. So you're always risking more than you're able to make. And if you're risking less, you're going to take even more losses. There'll be smaller losses, but you'll take, your win rate will be lower. Because you'll just get caught in the noise before it ends up working. So, I know exactly how you feel. That's kind of what's led me to where I am now, trading this big experiment that I'm trading. And, I'm curious when you say not very successful, are you keeping track of your win rate at all? I'm always curious. Not that win rate means much, because if you're going for enough of a profit, then it will offset the losses, or if you use runners or anything like that. But that's why I'm keeping track of my win rate as well, as you can see here in the box over here, because I want to see how the strategy is working for me over time. What I found so far is I'm kind of at 80% using this system, whether I'm applying some basic rules or not. But I'm getting way more trades if I'm not applying any rules. If I'm like today, where I'm just taking every entry and I've got 6 winners because I've taken every entry, I wouldn't have taken any of those 6 trades. If I'm spreading it out through my Apex accounts, that means that I can be advancing a number of accounts, even if I manage to take a hit and a red day on 1 or 2 accounts. So in theory, I think that overall should help me, because if I'm spreading it out over accounts and not copy trading too many at the same time, in theory, the losses will get dispersed, and then the wins will be more than the losses, hopefully. So far 8 out of 10. So then over time, I should be able to build accounts, pass accounts, get payouts in theory. I don't know if it works yet because I haven't got a payout yet. Oh, what tick chart am I looking at right now? This one, I mean, it doesn't even really matter, but the one I'm looking at right now is a 3200 tick chart. And you can see the counter here, but and this is even, let me put it back to the chart that I'm currently supposed to be watching, by the way. And just for an example, this tick chart is a 4,000 tick chart. And I literally will just like, if I can't find a chart that's working, I'll just like make up, I'll just go like, okay, is 4,000 working? Is 4,500 working? It's just random. So it's really, it almost doesn't even matter what tick chart I'm looking at, as long as I find a tick chart that I'm seeing that every entry is working, then that's the tick chart I want to use. So I don't care if it's, I don't care if it's 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 5,000. Obviously, the bigger they are, the less entries you're going to get. But it's like, to me, that's kind of the genius of what my brother thought of, is like, why is everyone just trading one size tick chart? Or why, I tried to copy for a while, but I found it's better to trade one account. I think I'm with you there, Zach. I think I'm now getting to the point. For instance, I copy traded my first trade today. I did one evaluation and one PA, which, I think to copy trade maybe for two accounts at the same time, depending on how many accounts you have and kind of what your strategy is, how you're working through your accounts. But honestly, like, I would have been better off if I had only traded the one account, because then this account would be much closer to passing right now. So, but yeah, I mean, at one point I was copy trading like four accounts at the same time, five accounts. I mean, even earlier today, I trade five. I traded four accounts at the same time, but only because of this Apex sale and their promotion. It really messes me up sometimes, because three of my active evaluation accounts are going to renew on Tuesday next week for 80%. And I could just buy new ones for half the price. Instead of paying $33 for the renewal, I could pay 16 and have a new account. So it's like, it makes me want to figure out a way to trade them more so that I either pass or fail. So that's why right now I'm just working on the valuation 22. And like, even if I only pass one evaluation out of the three and then cancel the other two and then have a PA out of it, like however it works out, even if I just get one PA out of those three active accounts before they renew, and then just get two more evaluations for half the price, it's the price of renewing one of these accounts. So trading with Apex accounts there's definitely a game to it. And that's also in addition to what I'm doing in terms of trading, experimenting with a trading strategy. I'm experimenting with the strategy of what the best way is to navigate how you trade or how I trade the Apex PA accounts and the evaluation accounts, because I haven't had a payout yet. So that's my biggest thing, is I'm just still struggling to get my first payout. Zach, if you're still here, are you trading on Apex or your own funds or another prop firm? Oh yeah, so you're international. Yeah, I don't know anything about that because I'm in the States. But so you qualified for your first payout now, and you're just waiting for it to hit your bank. It was already approved. Oh, I see. So it's just there's some kind of lag in the system. But it sounds like if you're approved, I mean, I haven't heard of anyone not actually getting their payout from Apex. So for whatever reason it's delayed, I'd be shocked if you didn't get it because I've never heard of that before. But that's great. So I mean, you're ahead of me, man, because I haven't gotten the payout yet. So even though you're struggling, you're scalping and you're struggling, and I mean, you said you're not very successful. You've conquered one major goal. At least you got a payout. Yeah, I want to use it to buy more. Don't want to don't want to pay from my own pocket. Yeah, man. That's where I'm at too. I mean, I've been trading so carefully on this PA2. If you go back and look at any of my reviews from, just previous to this, from this year, I started trading this account. It's funny. I passed and got this PA account in July, the end of July last year, but I didn't start trading it until the day after Christmas. I just paid the lifetime fee up front, and I had 5 of them. And so I was trading the other accounts. I don't know how it was PA2 that got left behind, but I just never traded it. And when I blew them all up at the end of last year and I switched to trading NASDAQ was a big thing for me. I'd been trading ES forever. For the entire 3 years I was trading futures, I traded only ES 2000 tick chart. So the day after Christmas, I started trying this new system, which involved switching to NQ and trading that for the first time. And so that's when I started trading this PA number 2. So since the day after Christmas, the first trading day, and until now, and I've been like just grinding this whole time trying to get to the first payout and being so careful, like really choosing my trades, applying like my rules to how, some basic rules to this new system. And again, that goes back to kind of like Mac and his price action trading system. You could check it out at priceactiontradingsystem.com if you're at all interested. I mean, I think there's a lot of things to learn from it, but I think there's very few people that can really figure out how to be profitable from the exact system. But I think there's like things you can take from it and probably apply to other ways of trading, and it can help. But I'm not promoting that. I'm just saying that that's what I was trying to do for 3 years, and it never worked well enough for me to get profitable. So I'm now off of it, but I do consider some of the kind of aspects of what he teaches there. But I'm kind of onto this new thing. So today is kind of an example of where I may be headed in my trading. But yeah, the big thing for me is I'm at the point where when I can pass, or when I can qualify for a payout, I'm going to take the max payout. Share the website. It's here, I don't know if it'll let me, but let's see. If they let that go through. Yeah, so I can't really recommend it necessarily because I wasn't able to get profitable. What I can say was my win rate was good. It was just because it was trading on ES. He teaches trading on ES on a 2000 tick chart, and he teaches scalping for 4 ticks on the ES. And so to me, that's the biggest issue I had with the system, was that one loss could wipe out 3 or 4 trades. And it was so hard, according to the rules that he teaches, that are really subjective, by the way, the rules he teaches, that there were trades that that were, yeah, take a look. It's not something I'd say do it. It's also pretty cheap. He charges like 125 for the year, but also he's on YouTube for free. You can look at his like reviews every day for free if you just look up Pats, I think Pats. Or yeah, if you look at Pats, it should come up. You'll see a channel, and it's a guy named Mac, and he's like talking through. All he does is he doesn't show his trades. He only shows where he says there were entries for the day after the fact. So, you know, take it for what it is. But the rules are really subjective. He has you drawing trend lines and things, and he has rules for when the trends break. And, you know, there's all kinds of things to it. It's pretty, there's a lot to it. But the biggest problem is just, you know, scalping for 4 ticks on ES, like the margins are so small. So like if you're wrong, if you take a wrong trade, you're going to lose. Like there's like so little wiggle room. Like typically if it's not a great trade, you're going to take a loss there. And then he shows a lot of trades where you look at it and go, but that doesn't fit your rules. Like, I don't understand it. There's a lot to it. Anyway, I'm off of it. I'm not really trading that way, but I don't not think there's value in it. And he charges like $125 for his website, but you can just look at his reviews every day for free on YouTube. But I don't think I'm ever going back to that. Like, first of all, I don't think I'm ever going back to ES. I find with NQ, it's like, even if it's not a good trade, I think that's part of what's going on here in terms of the wins I'm getting today. And other days when I just kind of go with my chart is there's more wiggle room because there's just more margin for error. Your trade doesn't have to be perfect on NQ. Like NQ moves so much that you could take a bad trade and still win. So that's one thing is I'm never going back to ES. Max says that you can trade it on any chart, any size tick chart, any instrument, but he teaches it on ES only. And man, I gave it 3 years. I really tried, but I couldn't make it work for me. So, but I actually know some people that do make it work for them, supposedly, you know. So, but very few. Out of the most people that I know that try it can't make it work successfully to be profitable. Okay, I think I have another potential entry here. Let's see what happens. This is just taking every entry on evaluation 22. Not a trade I would typically take. We'll see if it works. So I'm willing to pass or fail this evaluation. So if this gets triggered, it is at the measured move. Not that I should be using any rules to apply to this trading, but obviously this is not a trade I would typically take according to rules. But this is an entry on a chart with no losses for the day. Now, also the other thing is I know that this is a time of day where losses tend to come if they're going to come. So I usually wouldn't take, I definitely wouldn't, another reason why I'm not trading my PAs anymore at this point of the day, because I know that a chart that has no losses will get a loss eventually, most of the time. So the later in the day you trade the chart, the more likely a loss is going to come, is my theory. But because this evaluation is going to renew on Tuesday, like I said, I really only have tomorrow and today to trade it. I have Monday also, but I have to decide on buying a 90% eval before that. So I'm going to trade 4 contracts. try to get the most I can. So if it triggers, I'll take it. If it loses, this is my last winning chart of the day that I could find. So I would call it a day on my next loss. I'm just watching this, so I'll get back to the chat in a minute if this triggers afterwards. Hopefully it'll be a winner, but I'm going against the grain. The trend is up. Let's see, we get the. I still think it's gonna get to the highs of those dailies, but yeah, you have a take profit. Yeah, I haven't traded any other prop accounts or prop firms. Apex is the only one I've ever used. I mean, it's funny. I'd like to finish my day like this, but I have limited time on this account, so I'm just going to go for it if this triggers. This is what Apex does to me by having these promotions. If they weren't having this promotion, I wouldn't even be trading anymore. I would call it a day already. So I'm trying to finish my trading days earlier now. So ideally, like, this is like the cutoff time where I don't want to even be trading anymore. And maybe I should just stop. I mean, maybe I should just pick this up tomorrow and try to pass this account tomorrow. I don't know. Considering it's not a bad day. This is going the other way. I'm going to cancel this for now. How do you like take profit? Have you had any payouts on that one? Oh, you have one eval. I see. You have one eval with take profit. So no payouts on that one then, obviously. All right, so the only thing I'm looking at here is just, I really think that this thing is going to, at the very least, get to the high of this candle and retest it. And then I have a larger measured move from the leg earlier. That's up higher still even. So that's what I've been watching as far as the big picture goes. Do I want to take one more trade today or not? I don't know. Maybe I'm done. I don't know. Oh, first time. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear if you think take profit is good or not once you go through it. If you like it better than Apex or not. I mean, I don't know if you watch Alpine Trader. I like to watch him on YouTube. And I mean, he's got to have 25 or so, maybe more funded accounts. He's got like 20 from Apex, and then he's got like 5 from other companies. And he's just killing it and getting payouts from all of them. And he always says that, it doesn't even matter to him what the prop firm is or what the rules are. He'll just adapt to what their rules are, and he wants to take money from all of them. And I think that's true. I mean, you could probably, if you can adapt to the rules, you could trade with any prop firm. It doesn't even matter as long as they pay, right? It's the only thing that matters. Oh yeah, yeah. I really think he's good. He's part of what's inspiring me. Kind of how I've started to look at my Apex accounts. I used to get really upset when I blew up an evaluation or get a loss or make a mistake. But then the idea of like, yeah, like I only paid $33 for these accounts, or $30 for the 25K. So it's like if you spread it out and you blow up one, but you do well on all the others, then who cares about the one you messed up, right? So he's definitely an inspiration to me. I mean, that's the dream, right? To get to what he's doing now, I think he just got 48K in payouts and I think from Apex alone in February, which is crazy. So that's the goal, but I got a long way to go to get there. I got to get my first payout still. But yeah, I think my thought is if I can ever get to the point where I can do what he's doing with the Apex accounts and build up and have that many and being able to make it work, then at that point I'd probably spread out to other prop firms. But I do, even with the trailing drawdown, I like Apex the best. I mean, the trailing drawdown is an obstacle, but I don't feel like it really, I don't think it really should matter in the long run, as long as you're just trading and being aware of it, But it's a rule. You just play by the rule. I'm still looking at this and considering whether I should take a trade. I don't know. I feel like I'm maybe done for the day. Like the first trade being a loss and then getting 6 wins in a row. Like I feel like even though it's a bummer, I took a hit on this PA2. I feel like it's a pretty good day overall despite that. It's frustrating that I got that, but I mean honestly, if I kept trading it, it would be green right now. I just didn't want to risk it today. I think that the thing that's kind of on my mind is like I'm just distracted by these evaluations I keep talking about that renew soon. It's just real hard to justify paying $33 when you could pay $16. So what I'd like to do is figure out a way to pass 22. And then even if I have to let 23 and 29 just cancel them and just get 2 new ones, 2 for the price of 1. Even though, the balances are fine, drawdown's fine, but yeah, Zach, thanks for checking out the stream and hope you'll come back. It's fun having someone to talk to. Nobody really chats with me yet because I'm so new to streaming. So it was cool to have a little conversation today. So I hope you'll come back and check out where I go on this journey as I move forward. But yeah, have a good one. Good luck trading. Good luck with your accounts. All right. So I think given that I'm losing my only chat partner of the day, thanks again, Zach, for interacting with me. I think I'll probably call it. I'm going to leave my stream running for a little while. I have to go feed my dogs. So I'm going to feed my dogs, take them out, and then I'll come back and see if this chart is still holding up. So, if I miss some trades, it's fine. But I feel pretty good overall about the day. 6 and 1 is hard to feel bad about. It does feel like a red day for me still, because this is the only account that really matters to me. Like I was talking about with Zach, it's like until I could get a payout and get all my money back that I've put into this and and be working at break even or on their dime on the rest of the accounts. It's real hard to trade this way on the PA account because if I take a loss, it's real easy to take a loss and go like, well, I shouldn't have taken this trade. Now, this turned out to be a win. But if this had lost, like, I would have thought to myself, well, yeah, I shouldn't take this trade because I'm looking for a measured move higher. But it just shows that there was enough margin to still get the win because I'm not going for a huge scalp. I'm going for a very small amount compared to how big these bars are. And so I'm able to get it and it still goes. And that's just by trading the chart and taking every entry. So that's part of my struggle right now. Yeah, here, let's do this. Gonna say away until yeah. So it's gonna take me about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna leave the stream running and I'll come back and see how the chart looks. If it picks up a loss, then I'll definitely end the day. If it's still being a winner, then I might consider trading. I still have 1 day, so it's like one more kind of day like this tomorrow, and I could pass it maybe. So I don't need to necessarily take more trades today on it. Everything else is inconsequential at the moment. I'm not going to trade my PAs anymore today. I'm not going to trade this one anymore today because I have a whole month to trade this. So I'll be back in a little bit. All right, so it looks like this chart. I'll be right back. So it looks like this chart took a first loss. This would have been an entry below this green bar, which would seem like a really bad trade to take if you're taking every entry. Not one I'd just be forced to skip, but I just got back and missed it. So I don't have any charts left to trade. So I think this is going to be the end of my stream here. Yeah, phone call, but I'll call them back. So yeah, this is going to be the end of my stream. Not a terrible day. I traded on, I think, 4 or 5 charts in total. And so yeah, so not a bad day. 6-1 for the day, 9-2 for the week. Real bummer that I took that hit on my PA number 2, but overall, can't complain. Gonna try to pass this evaluation 22 tomorrow, I think, and 90% discount. Use this code or any other. And thanks for checking out the stream. I'll be back tomorrow, live streaming as usual at the normal time, hopefully, since I was late today. And one day pass still happening. And look out for my review, which will be coming soon. So see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for Zach for joining me today and having a little conversation. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Appreciate it.